Hello, everybody. Today we are presenting 8 international poets from the poetry anthology Song from the Wind from the publishing house Expedition in Germany. So this music video that you heard in the beginning was created and performed by Thomas Steen, who is from Germany and was born in 1962. His first passionate contact with music he had in very early age when he discovered his parents' record player. At 12, he had the first guitar and it was not his last. With 15, he started the rock and roll life debut. He had several band projects and with an expansion of styles from swing to jazz, children's musical and blues pop to the creation of film music in his own recording studio. So we will hear 3 pieces written by him and played by him. So this anthology, Songs from the Wind, is already the 5th international poetry anthology from the publishing house Expedition in Germany. Every book was released as a multilingual volume, and the poems are in English and in the mother tongue of the poet. And also today, every performer will read his poem in 2 languages. The English mother tongues will read 2 poems. So we start with Aristea Papalexandru, who was born in Hamburg in 1970 and studied music and medieval and modern Greek literature. She works as an editor. She has published 6 books of poetry. And for her book, It's Passing Us By, she was honored by the Academy of Athens in December 2017. The translation is made by Philip Ramp, a poet and experienced translator who has lived and worked in Greece for over 55 years, and he has done many translations from Greek. So Aristea will read first the Greek version, and Gino will read the English version afterwards. Thank you. Okay, you have to unmute, Aristea. Unmute your microphone, please. On the left.
Good afternoon, guten Abend.
Yeah.
Buonasera.
Yeah.
I'll read my poem in Greek, my mother language, and then Gino will read it in English translation. Άνεμος το φυσά. Αυτός ο άνθρωπος στα θολά ανεβαίνει μια γυάλινη σκάλα. Κρατά μαύρο περίστροφο, πυρπολεί στον αέρα, εκβιάζει τα σύννεφα να χιονίσει. Δεν τον βλέπει συνήθως με μάτι γυμνό, τον σκαρώνουν τα άρρωστα μάτια μοιόπων. Οπτασία θα πεις στο κενό των ανέμων και μετά νάτος, σάρκινος, καθιστός σε συμβούλια, ημερήσια διάταξη και είσαι μέσα κι εσύ, σωτηρίας παράδειγμα, σε καλεί να ανέβεις στη σκάλα, τρέμεις, άνεμος σε φυσά, μα επιμένεις. Και όταν πας να πατήσεις το πρώτο σκαλί, επανέρχεσαι. 10 όραση και ένα βήμα γκρεμός, η αλήθεια μπροστά σου. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And now we hear the translation read by Gino Leineweber. You have to unmute, Gino.
Now you can hear me. So, wind is blowing. This man is climbing a glass stairway in mist. He's holding a black revolver, shooting into the air, forcing the clouds to snow. You ordinarily can't see him with the naked eye. I, suffering from myopia, concoct him an apparition, you'd say, in the wind's void. And then there he is in the flesh, sitting in committees. The day's agenda, and you are there as well. Example of redemption. He invites you to climb the stairs. You're trembling, wind blowing on you, but you persist. And just as you are set to step, you're back at the first rung, 10-10 vision. The abyss, but is dried away. The truth before you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Very nice poem, Aristea.
Thank you very much.
So our next poet is Aisha Emon. She is an academic, educator, and performance artist. She writes in English, Urdu, and French. Her writings cover various subjects about the human conditions, such as love, desire, resilience, migration, and belonging. Aisha, let us hear
Thank you
your
so much,
poem.
Antje. And I'm just going to say, I'm going to read in English because, I mean, Urdu is my maternal language, but I'm writing in English, which kind of shows the colonial legacy of the language. And in a way, by writing, I'm sort of claiming ownership of English as well. This poem is called Water Sign because I'm Pisces and I'm a water sign, according to astrology. Sometimes, and before I start, so this poem comes out of a camping trip that I took when I moved to Ireland. So I lived in Ireland for 5 years. And I come from a very warm country, from Pakistan and Afghanistan, which is where my family is from. And for me to go out of the 46, 50 degrees Celsius weather to very, very cold 5 degrees and lots of rain, it took me a while to get settled into that climate. So this poem is about me trying to come to terms with feeling homesick and making sense of my new life. So, water sign. Sometimes the thick black blankets of Irish clouds make me forget that there are stars beyond, that there is still a sun, that there is no wind on the moon. Sometimes when the pelting rain calls upon my tears to flow as endlessly as itself, it too is seeking a friend. The warmth of my native land is now as distant to me as the Irish sun. I miss my fire. I have too much water. And now I must make friends with the rain.
Thank you very much. Very nice. You read another poem, please?
Yes. So this one is actually inspired by Gino's title for the book. And also it's a project that Antje had she organized and ran this project last year. I think, was it last year, Antje, or was it 2 years?
Yes, just
It
last year.
was, yeah. Time does pass by so fast, and so this is inspired by
Hair in the Wind.
project. Yes, Hair in the Wind. So mine is called My Hair No Longer Blows in the Wind, because it doesn't. But I used to have really long hair when I was in Pakistan, and I used to wear a hijab and everything. And then I moved to the US, and in protest, I cut my hair off. So this is about my hair no longer blowing in the wind. I hide my hair in a cloak of red and auburn, shades of violet squeezed from a tube, mixed together in a plastic bowl, my unruly curls smothered with enough ammonia to make a kitchen sink sparkle. Once I muzzled this mass of black frizz in a purple headscarf, my youthful wisps flattened by embroidered lace on polyester and matching pink lipstick. Teenage modesty could be fashionable. Mine walked a tightrope between screaming at the world and desiring its acceptance. My bound hair was a veiled strategy, hiding an unbounded sexuality, yearning to know freely, to be limitless in possibility, to explore the edges of creativity, to be known for more than the size of its childbearing hips and breastfeeding bosom. A guise of obedience, so that in exchange I could stall my parents for time to finish school, to convince fanciful suitors and prospective mothers-in-law that I was willing fodder for arranged matrimonials, while I was busy making other plans. I came to America. I cut off my hair. I desired to shed from my follicles generations of shame damning my female line, to drown in a sea of shampoo, voices of morality policing good and evil on my freshly laundered scalp. I bleached my brownness, queerness, working class wanting to be upper classness. I waxed, threaded, cropped, braided any lustrous locks that betrayed carefully coiffed feminine wiles. My hair protested. Clumps of tiny curls rampaged my morning sheets. I grieved. I wept. I slathered on coconut oil, swallowed vitamins, vacuumed my pillows. It grew back, though lighter. My heart refused to grow heavier. My hair no longer blows in the wind, just forever kindles the raging. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Aisha. Very touching, this poem, really, really touching.
Thank you, Antje.
Good. So now the next poet is Chloe Kotsoumbeli. Sorry if I don't pronounce well the Greek name, it's very difficult. She has written 10 collections of poetry, 3 novels, and 2 theater plays. She has participated in many Greek and foreign anthologies and festivals of poetry. Her poems and short stories have been published in Greek and foreign magazines, and her collection of poems with the title Those Who Eat at the Same Table in Another Land won the National Award of Poetry in 2016. Okay, Chloe, would you like to read your poem?
I think it is a very interesting meeting. I am thanking you all for this. I find it wonderful the fact that all these nations and this mingle of civilizations come together. I think we should do it once a week, at least. Gino, thank you very much for giving us this opportunity. I will read it in Greek and then in English. I translated it in English. Έρωτας. Αν είμαι αέρας, θα γίνω άνεμος. Αν είμαι μαΐστρος, θα γίνω τραμουντάνα. Αν είμαι ο Φεν των Άλπαιων, ο Μιστράλ της Γαλλίας, ο Σιμούν της Αραβίας, αν μπορώ να ξεριζώνω δέντρα, να στριφογυρίζω καμήλες ή απλώς να σου χαϊδεύω τρυφερά το πρόσωπο, θα έρθω για σένα. Μπορεί να σκουπίζεις το πάτωμα με την ηλεκτρική σου χελώνα, να πλέκεις κοτσίδες στα μαλλιά μπροστά στον καθρέφτη, να καθαρίζεις τα τζάμια του γυάλινου κλουβιού σου. Εγώ θα έρθω για σένα. Ακόμα κι αν με αρνηθείς, θα πετάξεις μαζί μου. Γιατί στον έρωτα και στον θάνατο δεν υπάρχει στους θνητούς επιλογή. Love. If I'm air, I will become wind. If I am maestros, I will become tramuntana. If I am Fen of the Alps, Mistral of France, Simoon of Arabia. If I can uproot trees or make camels spin around, or just touch your face tenderly, I will come for you. You may be sweeping the floor with your electric turtle. You may braiding your hair in front of your mirror. You may be cleaning the glass walls of your cage. I will come for you. Even if you deny me, you will fly with me. For mortals have no choice in matters of love or death. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, our next poet is Dimitris Kraniotis, who was born in 1966 in Larissa Prefecture in central Greece. He studied medicine at the University of Thessaloniki and works as an internist. He is the author of 10 poetry books. His poems have been translated into 34 languages, and he participated in several international poetry festivals. He is a doctor of literature, academician, president of the 22nd World Congress of Poets, UPLI, and president of the World Poets Society, WPS. He's a director of the Mediterranean Poetry Festival in Larissa, Greece, and chairman of the Writers for Peace Committee of PEN Greece. Thank you, Dimitris. Can you
Hello,
read
Fabrice. Thank you for the invitation for this great anthology with important poets from around the world and many French poets from Greece and other countries. I will read first my poem in Greek languages and after in English. Γόρδιος δεσμός. Θέλω να νιώσω το κάθε τι ακούω, να πω το κάθε τι αγγίζω και η αναπνοή που σβήνει να γίνει αετός. Θέλω να γίνω άνεμος, να λύσω τον γόρδιο δεσμό του τέλους και του ύπνου. Να λύσω, να θρηνήσω, να παίξω, να αγαπήσω. And now in English. Gordian knot. I want to feel everything I hear, to say everything I touch, and the breath that fades away to become an angel. I want to become wind, to untie the Gordian knot of the end of sleep, to solve, to mourn, to play, and to love. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dimitris. So now we have another piece of music from Thomas Steen. Don. Okay, this was Thomas Steen on the guitar with a friend. Our next poet is George Wallace. He is a writer in residence at the Walt Whitman Birthplace. He's the author of 40 chapbooks of poetry and the co-editor of Great Weather for Media, Poetry Bay, and From the Inside, an anthology of New York City poetry. George travels internationally to share his work. He receives top honors at festivals in Europe, Asia, and South America. And this year, he released poetry music collaborations in New York City and Athens in Greece. He is a founder and manager of Poets Building Bridges, an international triangulation of poets through Zoom, a little bit like what we are doing now. Okay, George, could you please read your poem, your 2 poems?
Fantastic. Thank you very much. It's great to see some of you people for the first time, others that I've had an opportunity to visit with and work with in the past. In Tetova, Dimitris, we did some work in the festival in Tetova, and of course in Piacenza at the Piccolo Museo, worked with you, Angie. Been to Afghanistan myself and miss it desperately. I would love to be able to return to Afghanistan, Aisha. And my first wife's family is from Oldenburg, not far from Hamburg. So a lot of associations here. 2 poems, both from the wind, about the wind. Fortune is the wind. Fortune is casual betrayal writ in large letters and in small. It is crime and punishment. It is truth scrawled on ghetto walls, lies covered in the irreducible fur of appetite. Fortune comes in small packages. The form of an ulcer on the lip or the jaundice you spit back into a cup. It is pronounced by the gods, not men. It is carried for secret generations. In the blood, in the semen, in the bad habit of talking out of turn or being bitten on the ankle by a snake or plagued with club foot. Fortune is also misfortune. It comes with a kicker. Good luck getting away with it. Bad luck, your mother coughing up blood at the dinner table. And worse luck is to have a neighbor with an incurable grievance concerning men with beards. Fortune is the wind. Worse luck is yet the cop who pulls you over and has a twitch in his trigger finger bigger than the 4th of July. Vengeance is a cheat, and premeditated kindnesses will come back to haunt you. Therefore, take good luck with bad luck. Kidney failure, blackouts, brown tide in your bones, stock market futures, fortune tellers with their hands out, grandfathers who go mad as money in upstairs rooms, grandmothers in kitchens painting images of Christ or the devil and decorating Easter eggs. Fortune is the wind, and the wind is a drug. It has all the right moves. It waits until the right time to act, then it kicks down your door and does dirty work. Fortune is the unplanned slip of a surgeon's knife. Fortune is waiting for you in the hotel lobby with a message from hell. Fortune is a toilet that backs up, a wound that won't heal. It is a misstep committed in the fog of war or lovemaking. Swallowed up and forgotten, 20 years later, it returns in the wind. It returns in your soup. It is a stranger with a broken tooth who wants to mess you up with a knife for play and leave you for dead on the commuter train. And a roof that collapses, and a child of 20 who refuses to look you in the eyes. Fortune, fortune, fortune is the wind, is the way of the world goes hysterical when you touch it, the way it hurls insults and unfair accusations at dinner tables and throws plates and curses God in the emergency room. It purples gums. It worries your fists. It seduces you with rumors and lies. Fortune takes it all in calmly. Fortune is incomplete sentences. Fortune is the helpless hunger that eats its way through your heart, is blind, is blind, is blind. Fortune is the wind. Fortune is waiting for you in the idiot darkness. You end your days as you begin them, in doubt or in shock or in disbelief, carrying unmentionable grievances to your grave. Cross your fingers. Spit for luck. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This is great. You have a second one for us, right?
I don't know, that took a lot of time. You have time for one more?
Yes.
Okay, this one's quicker. Thank you for that. I didn't want to overstep. All my songs begin with the wind in trees, with the passage of clouds, with starlight in the dark ocean of a troubled heart. All my songs with no wind blowing, or with wind blowing, born in the dull eye of God, in the hand of some empty-headed deity who rakes ashes like a prospector through sand and bowels of heaven, and heaven erupts with seed. The first glow of sunlight on a mountain, the purposeful laughter of fools, scissors in the serious hands of a child. All my songs begin with love's first leaning. Every song with the siphoning off of doubt, with the perfect storm of injustice, with the sidelong glance of hope, and the first teardrop, and with the sea drifting underfoot, and with death's caresses. All my songs begin with the wind and our new grass on an old hill, and the stain of new growth after a forest burns, which fills me with music. Yes, all my songs bring me back to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very, very nice. Great to listen to you. Our next poet is Lily Exarchopoulou. She was born in Athens in 1959 and still lives there. She studied in the UK ancient history and archaeology, in Greece, English, and American literature. She worked as a teacher for English, ancient history, and European literature, a journalist and a translator, and a book reviewer. She has published 3 novels, 3 poetry books, and numerous short stories in anthologies, newspapers, and magazines. She still hopes for a more inclusive world, loves art and the sea. So, please read us your poem, Lily.
Unmute me. I managed to unmute me. Okay. All this that I said about the world, I think it's very, very important today that it's Euro elections. And it seems that for the first time after too many years, Europe might be facing a war. I hope it doesn't, of course, but there is a chance. In the past years, there wasn't a chance like that. Also, of course, I like the sea because I'm a Pisces, as Isa. So I'm full of sea. And because today it's very, very hot in Athens, not as much as in Afghanistan or Pakistan, but very, very hot, I would have written maybe a different song for the wind today, a more loving the wind song. Ο θρήνος της Ιταλίδας Divas, and I'm going to translate just the title, The Italian Divas Lamentation, because it's Στην αρχαιότητα οι άνεμοι ήταν θεοί. Έτσι προσέφεραν στους θνητούς την εύπλια, βοηθούσαν κάποιες καλλιέργειες της γης, αναζωογονούσαν τον αέρα, κάλυπταν τις δυσοσμίες. Στο Μεσαίωνα πάλι είχαμε προσευχές, να συνεχίσουν αμέριπνοι οι Κιχώτες στην πορεία τους. Αρκετές ήταν για τον Άη Νικόλα, προστάτη Άγιο των Ναυτικών, για να χειρέψουν λιγότερες μανάδες. Στην νεωτερική εποχή επανεφίβραμε πέρα από τις τρίηρες, τις καραβέλες και τις ισαβέλες. Αντί για ποντοπόρα πλοία, προβάλαμε τιτανικούς, υποβρύχια, νάρκες θαλάσσης. Στη μέτα νεωτερική εποχή θυμηθήκαμε τον έρμο τον Μπόμπι Ντίκ, το γέρο και τη θάλασσα, την Οδύσσια, μέχρι και το παιδί και το δελφίνι. Χράτς, ένα άλμπατρος χάνει το κεφάλι του, σε ένα από τα κοπάδια με τις ανεμογεννήτριες και όλη η ποίηση ησυχάζει. The Italian Diva's Lamentation. In ancient times, the winds were gods. They offered the mortals a safe sail, helped in the cultivation of crops, covered foul and pleasant smells. In the Middle Ages, man created prayers to safeguard the journeys of the lacandistical Quixotes. People also appealed to St. Nicholas, the marine patron, urging him to prevent the widowing of mothers. In modern times, we had to reinvent first the triremes, next the caravels, and the Isabellas. Instead of seafaring vessels, we boasted of Titanics, submarines, rarely yellow, and naval mines. In the meta-postmodern age, we fell in love with Boy on a Dolphin. Then we remembered poor Moby Dick, as well as Ulysses and the Old Man and the Sea. Swoosh! An albatross loses its head in the forest of wind turbines, and all poetry is silenced.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Very
you.
nice.
Thank you.
Good. Now we go to Romania. Zorin Diaconescu, he started his literary aspirations to put it into action after retirement. Previously, he was an English teacher and from the age of 42, a journalist. Both professions influenced his writing. He is more a reporter than a poet. And he writes what he wants because he's free. Okay, so let's listen to your poem, Zorin. I cannot hear you anymore. On? Oh. Mm. Thank you. Very nice. Zorin, you are in Hamburg or you speak perfect German. Ah, great. Ah, good. Good consequence. one of the only ones. Good. Alicja is our next poet. She's Alicja Kuperska. She is a Polish poet, novelist, journalist, editor, translator. She edited volumes and anthologies in Polish and English. Her poems have been published in numerous anthologies and magazines in Poland and abroad. She is a member of the Polish Writers Association in Warsaw and IWA Bogdani in Albania. She is also a member of the Directors Board of our Poetry Archive in India and a cultural ambassador of the Inner Child Press in the USA. Okay, Alicja, so please read us your poem in Polish and in English. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Warm greetings from Poland. We have perfect weather here, 22 degrees. So, I will read the first poem in Polish. To tylko wiatr. Wiatr płynie przeciągłą melodią wśród drzew. Dźwięcznie szeleści akordami liści, rozprasza cienie przelatujących ptaków, przegania stada kłębiastych chmur, układa ruchome kolarze na niebie. Podmuchem zmarszczył tafle jeziora, ukradł wodzie gładkie oblicze, namalował szerokością wstęgi, wstrząsnął kilka suchych gałązek, zaświstał na wierzbowej fujarce. Gdzieś w oddali wtóruje mu echo. Śpiewa w kanonie z kroplami deszczu, powtarza refren piosenki i woła mnie. Tęsknię za tobą, gdzie jesteś, kochanie? It's just wind. Wind flows like a melody among the trees, and rustles resonantly with the chords of leaves, scatters the shadows of flying birds, arranges moving collages in the sky, and chases a herd of clouds. It ripples the surface of the lake with a gust, and stolls the smooth face from the water. Later, it painted white cycles in grayness, shook off a few dry twigs, and played a tune with a willow pipe. Somewhere in the distance it echoes, sings in a canon with the raindrops, repeats the chords of the song, and it calls me. I miss you. Where are you, my darling? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alicja. Very nice. So we have nearly concluded. Now Gino is going to introduce me and I will read the last poem. Then we have some music. And afterwards, if you have time and you feel like, we can exchange ourselves in an informal talking and chatting and whatever. So to be a little bit together, because it's a nice opportunity to see all of you from all over the world in this little screen. Okay. Gino, you have to unmute. Gino.
Yeah, I see. I see. I see. Sorry. So, yes, I introduce you to you, Antje, our lovely host today. Thank you very much, Antje. Antje Steen resides in Italy as a poet, visual artist, art curator, member of German Pen Center, German-speaking authors abroad, co-editor of the poetry magazine Tam Tam Boom Boom. Los Aplausiastas and Tirandas. She is a member of the direction committee of the Piccolo Museo della Poesia of Piacenza, Italy. In 2022, she published her most recent bilingual book, Grotesque, by Verlag Expedition. Her poems are translated into 12 languages and published in numerous international anthologies. Since 2020, she has been curating the art poetry project Rucksack, a global poetry patchwork, which involves more than 250 international poets. So
Okay. Yeah, my poem is from the next project from last year, also Hair in the Wind, which we did in solidarity with a woman in Iran. And lots of you are also part of this project. Haare im Wind. Man sollte den kleinen Bereich zwischen dem eigenen Leben und der Gesellschaft nicht unterschätzen. An dieser Schwelle ballen sich Konflikte und Blut. Auf Schwellen kämpfen Menschen für die Freiheit. Frauen legen ihre Haare in den Wind, verbrennen ihre Schleier, trotzen Schlagstöcken und Gewehrkugeln für ein menschenwürdiges Leben ohne Geschlechterapartheit. Mit wehenden Haaren schauen wir von den Schwellen auf unsere Gärten, lange vor der Aussaat der Religion angelegt, bevor Männer und ihre heiligen Bücher die Gesetze diktieren. Unsere Gärten waren für Kletterpflanzen mit tastendem Denken, die ihre Ranken hin zum Gegenüber schlingen, zum Nachbarn, zum Dorf, zur Menschheit. Gärten für das Zusammensein. Hair in the Wind, the translation is by Betty Gilmore. Never underestimate the tiny space between private and public. That threshold where conflict concentrates itself. The threshold where voices shout out for freedom. Where women let their hair blow freely in the wind. Burn their veils, challenge batons and bullets, fighting to gain their dignity, to gain a life without gender apartheid. With flowing hair, we stand at the thresholds and look out at our gardens, growing here long before us, long before the seeds of religion, long before the men wrote their holy books and their laws, separating women from men, separating men from themselves. The garden was designed for tentacular climbers who spread out their arms towards the neighbors, the village, towards humanity. The garden was designed for togetherness. Thank you. Okay, so now we have a last piece of music from Thomas Steen, and then we open up the mics. Okay, so last but not least, I want to thank you, Don Krieger, for this technical support. He's always with us, and it's great to have him because without him, we would not be able to do all this.
That's right.
Yes, a big applause to Don. And thank you, Gino Leineweber, for putting together this nice anthology. It's a lot of work, and you did it so often, and maybe you will do it also next year. So it's great that you put your energy in putting together people.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. So,
yes,
and to hear all of you, that's wonderful. It's very, it's a pleasure for me.
Yes, and thank you for all the participants. I don't repeat the names because I think I pronounce them terribly, but we are all here. So please open up your mics, and if you have questions to each other or whatever, please, or comments, Just speak out what you have on your heart. Thank you.